Craft Beer Banter presents a Kingswood Studios production. Created and recorded at Dock Brewing HQ. You're listening to Yeah, Beer and That. Oh, it's freezing. It is freezing cold. It is freezing cold. Hello and welcome. Me, alone. Episode 503. 503 of Yeah, Beer and That. My name is Chris. We're missing everyone. The Viking is off in Canada. The Duds is unwell. And Simmo just couldn't be bothered. That's not true. He asked me if he should come over, considering that everyone's else is not going to be here. And I said, it's up to you, mate. Obviously, me, I'm a big yes. You come over and we do this and we have some fun. But he was a bit like, nah. We'll do it. We'll do it another night. So what I've done is I've changed the plans for this evening. I'm just pouring myself a nice little sipping beer. The sipping beer for tonight is a bent spoke crankshaft cranking IPA. It is the first beer I've drank in a good couple of weeks. No real reason, just working and all of that. What that silence is going to tell you is that I was sipping. There's no one to bounce off tonight. And we're going to use this as a bit of an experiment. We'll see how I go. We'll see if I need to do this. I doubt I'll have to do this again like this. But anyway, episode 503, we had something else planned. It was going to be a bit of a British strong ale episode. And we might do that in the next episode. But what I'm going to do tonight is I had recently entered 5 beers in a, that is a delicious beer. Oh my God. I shouldn't scrape glasses on the ground because, or on the table because you can hear that very, very well. I entered 5 beers into the South Australian Brewing Club's Winter 2026 competition. It was a weird one though. It wasn't like a normal, here's 5 styles, try make that. It was a brew the best all-day drinking beer, brew the best late-night sipper, and brew the best barbecue meat beer. And what they did end up doing was they gave us suggestions for what these should be, but I tried to get off script a bit and play it a bit, let's try something else. And did that work? No. No is the answer. In fact, I had a couple of beers not go so well. So tonight we've got 3 segments. That's what we're going to talk about. I've got to get back. Segment number 1 is going to be beers what didn't score very well. Now, this is the problem, is that, segment number 2, beers what scored pretty good. Segment number 3, beers what scored amazing, right? And the thing is with scoring, you're getting judged on how well you brewed a beer to style. And that style is normally the BJCP guideline, right? So just because it doesn't score well, it doesn't make it a bad beer. Unless it is bad regardless of the style. So we'll go through that. I've got 2 beers for the beers what scored horrendously, 2 beers for the beers what scored okay, and 1 beer in the category beers what scored amazing. Now, nothing medaled. I didn't place it. None of that. I also entered these beers without trying some of them, and I haven't really done that before. So I'm talking, and I just want to have a quick sip. Oh, this is very. I don't know if you've had the bent spoke crankshaft before, but it's very. It's very bitter, but balanced. It doesn't have the mouthfeel I thought it would for an IPA of this flavor intensity. It's got a weird, like, almost an aniseedy thing going on there for me. I'm not really sure what that is. My palate is out of exercise. I am, and so am I in general. I spent a couple weekends ago, all of a Saturday, essentially at Cooper's Ale House there at Regency, just trying to drain a keg dry of the lovely 2017 vintage ale, in a way of apologising for segment 3 of episode 502, in what in my slamming of Cooper's in their vintage ale, calling it gluten-free beer and homebrew. When, look, in reality, those three of those that night were, but 3 are also amazing. So I'm trying to relearn how to, do all the things I need to do when it comes to tasting and testing. So I'm not going to go through recipes and stuff tonight. I'll give you a little bit of like basic recipe, but what I wanted to go through was the scores and the beers, and then actually taste some of these against what another bottle is, because I feel like one of these beers, or maybe a couple of these beers, just weren't delivered to the SA Brew crew in the best condition. So what do you reckon? That's a good summary of the episode. We'll kick it off, all right? So I've got my lovely little Robetown Brewery glass, and because it's Robetown Brewery, I'm going to go with my worst scored beer for the event. I brewed this beer for Andrew the Jack Simpson. This is good, my double Neeper, aka the Sneaky Neepy. Now, this is actually my first official taste of this. It wasn't a taste out of a snipe. The commentary was that heavily oxidized, and Mother Mary, they may have been right. No, they're not. They're wrong, 100%. So it's very hard to tell because I'm under like yellow light here. Where is the camera? Oh, right there. There you go, my darling. Now, yeah, they definitely just got a shitty bottle. That's so annoying. So I'll read you their notes, and then I will do the tasting. So I'm going to pick the worst one. Where are we? What did I score? This is actually, I think, the worst ever scored beer I've ever had at a competition. It was a 16 out of 50. Work out how the beer became oxidized and the diacetyl came from. The base of the beer might be good, but couldn't tell from this example. Unfortunately, it was undrinkable. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have given you an undrinkable beer. So let's do like our little tasting. So aroma, it's juicy, tropical fruit juice. It's as thick as your dad's dick. It is, you cannot see through that. It looks like orange juice, dark orange juice. It's not very carbonated, and that is because the alcohol level is outrageous on this. I think this ended up being about a 9%. Very on the aroma, very, very thick tropical fruit juice. That's where we go. Bitter and unbalanced. Hang on. That tastes like a disgusting double Neeper to me. I don't like hazy IPAs. I don't enjoy the beer style itself. This is full of, you know what this reminds me of? The boozy fruit, the Big Shed boozy fruit. And I know that's going to be like, well, that's an amazing beer to most people. To me, it was not. I thought it was disgusting. I didn't enjoy it. Yep, that tastes exactly like the boozy fruit. So I may even put a link to that recipe because maybe you would like to brew this. I've got to save a few of those bottles for Andrew and Mike. I haven't got many left either because I lost so much beer from when I was actually like transferring from demijohn to bottles. So what happened was I did a 5-liter batch of this. This was, pale malt, oats, a little bit of I want to say maybe Munich, stuff like that. The dry hop was heavy, about 10 grams per liter. And there was a yeast cake. So I took a photo I'll try and put it up there for you. All right, ready? There. And what it is it shows like the layers, and I'm hoping the photo shows it does it justice. There's a big thick orange layer where the juice was, a big thick green layer where the hop matter was, and then a big thick white layer where the yeast was. It was really cool. I loved it. It looked like a wheat spar almost. But I have to kind of disregard this as the worst beer I've ever made or ever been judged because it definitely was just the bottling was not good. I don't know how I fucked that bottling up so badly, but I obviously did, and that beer tastes fine to me. And as far as hazy IPAs go, yes, it's a bit bitter for style, I'd say. Most hazy IPA drinkers maybe would go, that's a touch bitter, but it's because of the alcohol. It is balanced to the alcohol. That's actually a really nice beer. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that I gave them the wrong bottle, or that bottle got oxidized. I'm not really sure how because I bottle conditioned. Yeah, butterfly diac aroma muted fruit aroma muted. No, that's not correct. Very low hop character, low stone fruit, hint of butterscotch, possible diac. Nah, they got a bad bottle. In my opinion, in my humble opinion. The other worst beer that got judged on the event was a wit beer. Now, I know that the recipe is good because the recipe has been done by the Viking and Duds before, and it is one of the best wheat beers I've ever had. Very similar to the one served at the old Belgian beer cafe. I'm not sure what it's called now, but the Hoegaarden, it was close as. So I stole Mike's recipe, and I tried to make my own version. I can't really read Luke Bede's writing. He's a very he always gives very good notes, but here we go. Lifeless, too secret, not enough carb. No, I'll go with the other one. Here we go. Very poor carbonation made the beer a little lifeless. Increase this to be the first step in improving this beer. Now, the beer got a 23 out of 50, which is shit. But very little in the way of, how to improve that. Just make it more carbonated and it'll be less lifeless. Yeah, I understand that. Look, the thing was with these beers, I was trying to get 5 fresh beers brewed for the competition. You see, because I was just trying to get as many beers out there as I could. Because I know that the SA Brew membership numbers are going down, so there's not as many beers going into comps and stuff. And I thought, why not just try to get 5 done, right? But these guys are on drugs. On drugs. This is a lovely beer. That's orange. No, they're right about the carbonation. But no, this tastes like a Belgian beer. I think they got poor bottles. Now, the other thing was because of how close to the competition it was for me to get the beers brewed, I don't think I gave these beers enough time to properly bottle condition. So it's been sitting another almost 2 weeks, maybe, since the competition ended. So these I remember touching the plastic PET and squeezing it a bit, and I could put a little bit of pressure, and it would cave, Whereas now with these bottles, these PETs, I can't even push them. Like they've properly firmed up. They're nice and tight. So yeah, look, you get Simmo's going to hate this one because it's got that banana-y yeast character. There's lots of yeast character. I even did the zest of an orange into this, or the rind of an orange into this. I boiled for like 5-10 minutes. I put some coriander seed in the mix. It was a combination of wheat and Pilsner malt with a lovely Belgian yeast. I can't recall exactly what it was. It was on the table just before. Anyway, look, This is lovely. This is, yeah, orangey, yeasty. I do agree with the comment that the carbonation could be a little bit increased, but nothing outrageous. I do think that unfortunately the judges received two of these beers, maybe and they're not in their best condition. One being the double Nipah, they received a bottle what was oxidized, and two, this wit beer was not carbonated. So, um, look at that. I don't know. Look at it is tight little white bubbles. It is that head is got the cappuccino foam. The nose, it's effervescent. It is bubbly. That's a shame. And the reason such a shame is because I don't really care about what scores I get from those judges. I don't brew beer for competition. Well, I do brew beer for competition, but I don't brew it to make those competition judges happy. I brew for competition to enter competition. So I get like lots of different styles that I brew and stuff. I brew my beer to make my dumb mates happy and to make sure, Chris, this is great. Chris is, Chris, this is shit. We need you to make this. Chris, do this, do that. I don't brew beer for any other reason than to drink it and to share it with my friends, basically. So even though those are pretty poor scores that I've received for those, it just goes down to the fact that I brewed the beer hastily. Like I didn't leave myself enough time in the window from finishing the beer to allow it to carbonate properly in the bottle. So it could be delivered to judges in the best possible form so I can get the best possible score. Because if I put it to you now, you listening, that if they tasted these beers as they are now, they would not have gotten those scores. And that's not a problem by me. So, and this is why we're doing this podcast. Just because your beer scores poorly, it doesn't make it a bad beer. Do not let that affect you. Do not let that change the way you brew beer. Do not let that affect, make you think that you're not a good brewer. All that means is that the bottles that the judges received on the day and drank from, the beer inside those bottles were not perfectly to style as per the BJCP. They could still be delicious beers or not. They could be, oxidized or have issues, but that's fine. It's totally fine. Enter competition to get good notes back, to improve your processes, to improve your bottling, to improve things like that. I like competition for the fact that I get to, get given, hey, try brew these 5 styles. Have I ever brewed a wheat beer before? No. Duds and Viking have. Have I ever brewed a double Nipah before? No. Because why would you? They're horrible. So the wit beer was going to be my all-day drinker, I believe, and the double Schneeper was going to be my barbecue beer. Because the way that I put it, I'm going to have this greasy, smoked, heavy meat. I may as well have a 9% orange juice that's going to get me drunk. And my all-day drinker is a wit beer. I've sat at the Belgian Beer Cafe, and I have consumed 100 of these in a day. Hoegaarden in that lovely, tall... What is it called now? The Laneway Social, I think. Anyway. I like that wit beer. If I'm being honest, it's not as good as Mike's. Mike's and Vikings or the Duds and Vikings, theirs was that good. I was so impressed. But yeah, look, all right. Segment 1, beers you brewed. What didn't get a good score in competition? I think that's a pretty good summary. I think that's a pretty good attack on those beers. I can't wait for the boys to try those. I don't know how many I've got left. Again, that's what I was saying. Sorry, the double Nipah. So I brewed a 5-litre batch, and I ended up getting 3.3 litres into bottle because the losses in the oats, the losses in the hop matter, the losses in the trube. I just tried to get clean beer into those PETs, and you only hit their 750ml PETs. So I think I had 4 750ml PETs and a 330ml glass. So bottle. So that's where brewing small batch. That's the downside. I've given away one of the PETs. I've drank one now, or drank half of one. There's not much of that beer left. The upside to brewing small batch, you get to brew lots of different beer. Weigh it up. It costs less. You get to brew more. You know. Saying that, what I think I will do for the next beer competition, which would be the SAB, I don't know. It used to be called Sabsos, and they've called it something else now. I think I'm going to brew large scale, large batch, and keg, and then closed transfer to PET to make sure I don't have these issues again, and that the carbonation's right in there, and that I've tasted the beer before I sent it off. So I had not tasted the double Nipah or the wheat beer before sending it to competition. Right now with you is the first time I am tasting these two. All right. Segment 1 done. We'll be back in 5 minutes with segment 2 of episode 3. I'm going to have a couple more sips of this delicious Crankshaft and Spoke IPA.